So today I'm going to talk to you about route planning and how it can actually work inside of your business. I'm going to talk about the things that businesses often currently doing and the changes that they actually make inside of their business to improve it. And I'm also going to give you a live demonstration on exactly how route planning can work inside of your business and showing the impact it can have from a driver's point of view. So first off, when I go into a business, they're often looking at sort of different ways in which they can optimize. They're thinking about how do they make things better for their driver? How can they actually save money? First off, I always start with what are you currently actually doing? In most instances, most businesses have predefined routes. Those routes are defined for each one of those drivers and they have a certain number of bookings. Those routes have been created years and years ago and they've never actually looked at it and going, have we evenly spread across the workload that we currently have on a daily basis across all of these routes, or are these just routes that's going to continue to operate like they have been for the last 10 years? That's probably the first place I start. I always take all of their data and I actually run it through a route optimization engine and I work out, are these the most efficient routes that have actually been created? When we talk about routes, those are the zones where all those deliveries are going to that one particular driver. That's the most common way in which we see the route planning actually taking place. Now, what you can do is there's two different things you can do. You can continue operating in these subset of areas for these different drivers, or you can actually say, I'm going to take all of this volume that we have on a daily basis, and that might be 100 parcels, or it might be thousands of parcels, and I'm actually going to let the route optimization engine figure out what is the most efficient route on a daily basis. Now, there's some advantages and disadvantages of going down this path. The advantage of going down this path is that you can really optimize your routes to be super efficient by doing this. But it does mean that each of your drivers are going to travel on a different route on a daily basis. It also means that you can scale up and down numbers of drivers really easily by doing that, but it will mean that it will take you time to actually build those routes on a daily basis. Most route planning or route optimization engines will take some time to actually go through that process of doing that routing on a daily basis. It might take you 5 minutes, it might take you 10, it might take you 20 minutes depending on the numbers of deliveries that you're actually optimizing throughout that period. And so that's a consideration that I always think about when I'm considering which is the best way to actually go down for a particular business. Now, if you don't go down that full route optimization engine side of things, the other option is that you can actually say, here are our routes, here are the different areas that our drivers are actually going to deliver in, and the sortation will happen on a daily basis. The sortation occurs where parcels come in, they get sorted into those routes. Once those drivers arrive, they scan and onboard those parcels to their particular route, and the system will optimize that individual driver's route. And so the difference in this instance is you're doing route optimization from an individual driver point of view. You're not doing route optimization across all of your volume, across all of your drivers. And so those are two fundamental differences that you want to consider. We often see some larger businesses going down the path of where they maintain their routes and they're just doing optimization at an individual driver level. Smaller companies with less volume can actually do the full route optimization of all of their volume and spread that across all of their drivers. It really depends on your business. It also depends on what your pick and pack process looks like. So if you've got a warehouse and you're doing your order processing throughout the day and they need to actually move those parcels into particular routes, then you're probably going to find it difficult to do route optimization at all of your volume. You're going to need to break it down into routes, then those individual routes are then going to be optimized. Now, one of the biggest benefits of doing route optimization is obviously it's going to save you time, it's going to save you money, and make sure that your drivers are traveling in the most efficient route. But one of the big benefits I see is it's often not thought about is you can actually provide your customers with a live tracking link. It's very difficult to provide your customers with a live tracking link unless you're using route optimization. And this will mean that your customer will know when you're actually arriving. This will increase and improve your customer service, but it will mean that you'll be able to decrease the number of phone calls that are coming into your office where customers are saying, where's my parcel? Why hasn't it actually arrived? So that gives you a bit of an overview on the different ways in which route optimization can work inside of a business. Now what I'm going to do is take you through a live demonstration and show exactly how this can actually operate inside of your business. What you're looking at here right now is a version of Locate to You, and you can see a list of all of your deliveries to be done on a particular day. Now, the thing that you want to be figuring out is how do you go about allocation, how do you go about route optimization in this instance. Now, if you're using something like Locate to You, you're going to be able to go do it in a couple of different ways. The first way you can actually do is go through optimization. Now, this is when you're taking all of your deliveries for a particular day and actually going through the whole route optimization process. This is where you're not really using zones or breaking it up into individual routes where drivers are doing particular areas. This is where the system's actually going to do that work for you. Now in this particular example here, I've got a start location here. I'm going to set the date for tomorrow. I'm giving it the system a time window to say, okay, this is when the delivery is going to take place, between this time window and this time window. In this instance here, I haven't actually set an end location. Now what could be quite useful is that, and more than likely in most businesses, what you want to do is you want to say the drivers are either returning back to the start location or they're going to return to the driver's actual home location. And so you can just be able to select that and choose which way you're going to be able to do that. I might set this here to say return to the start location. The other option you do have is the ability to set up some skill matching. Now you might have certain drivers that can only do certain types of bookings. Skill matching is perfect for that. The other thing that often companies are looking to be able to do is that they're able to say, for this type of delivery, it needs to be delivered inside of this particular time window. And that's also going to be really useful for your planning as well. So next off, what I'm going to see here is I'm going to see a preview on all of the bookings that are available in the system. This is for the system to be able to then do the route optimization for all of these deliveries. What you might want to consider doing is you might want to be able to say, okay, well, I'm only going to just do the route optimization just for this particular area, and you can circle this area inside of the system there very easily. But for this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the route optimization for all of them. As I zoom in, it actually shows me all the individual bookings as the blue dots there. And zoom out. Next, I'm going to go, okay, these are all the available drivers. Now, what you can do is you can say, let's just allocate it to all these drivers, and I can minimize the number of team members required, or I could spread the workload evenly, or I could assign them based on particular routing rules that are there. But I'm just going to do next. Now what the system's now going to be doing is it's going to run the route optimization process. Now what it will do is it will actually present you with the routes really, really quickly, and so you can see that's appeared in a couple of seconds. Now what the system will actually start to do is actually try and optimize them further than what you can see right now. In this instance here, we've optimized 98 routes. I can click on any one of these and you can actually see those routes forming. Now you give the system a little bit of time to actually run, and this is why it's really important to figure out what works for your business. Now if you're a business where you get your data, say the night before, and you say maybe you get a cutoff at 7 p.m. at night, you can actually run your route optimization the night before your drivers turn up at 6 a.m. in the morning. And that's going to work perfectly. But if you're getting a cutoff, much later into the night or even earlier into the following morning, then you might want to consider how best you're going to be doing the route planning and whether you're actually going to go through this process. Because this process will take you, it might take you 5-10 minutes. It will require an allocator to think about what they're actually doing, and then you're going to then need to be able to go and do your sortation. From here, the sortation will occur where you're going to have an app on your phone which will be able to connect to the Locate to your system, and you'll be able to scan those parcels, and it will tell you which particular route this particular delivery belongs to and the order that it's actually going to be delivered in. And so this is parcel number 5 of your 50 parcels to be delivered. Okay, and so you need to have time to be able to do that sortation. If you're dealing with large amounts of volume, well over 1,000, then that's going to be more difficult to do. I'll walk you through what we'll do in that instance. Okay, so you can see here the routes are being built. Those routes are looking pretty good. You can see there's a nice sort of loop, and in this instance, the driver's returning back, and you can see the same happening in this instance here as well. And so the system will continue to optimize, and you'll see this route changing occurring down the bottom here, but that looks like it's looking pretty good. It's going out and coming back in, and so you'll probably see some changes there. But let's just say you're really happy with that and you're comfortable with what was looking there. And if you wanted to, you could actually download this into Excel, but I could just click on the create of the 5 trips. Now when you create the 5 trips, what that will automatically do is allocate it to the drivers. The drivers will see it on their mobile device, and they can go off and start doing their deliveries. Now, in the instance where you have a larger amount of volume, what you want to think about is building out different zones inside of the map, okay? And this is where you can go down to our settings, you go down to configuration, and you've actually got our service area set up here. You can actually draw on the map here, and you can say, okay, these are the different zones that you're going to have. You can make as many of these as you like, and you just click on the plus option, and you can call this here a zone, and as parcels actually come in, you give this a name. Let's just call it zone 1, for example. And what you can do is you can say all the parcels that are in this area are going to belong to this particular zone. You do that manual sort, and so your individual sorters will know these are suburbs, these are the zip codes that they're actually doing that sortation for. And when they do that, then the driver can turn up and actually take their mobile device using the Locate To app, and they can actually scan that particular parcel. When they scan that parcel, it will automatically onboard to that particular driver. And when you go to your trip screen, you'll actually start seeing the trips actually being built. the system will automatically start ordering these particular individual deliveries into the most efficient route for that particular driver. And this is a really great way for this driver, because now you're taking a driver who might know that particular area that they're actually delivering in, but now it's going to give them the most optimal route. And that's the most important thing, is getting that optimal route to that driver. And so whether you're doing that for all of your deliveries or doing that at an individual driver level, both of those are really important. So from a driver's point of view, it's really straightforward. You'll go into the Locate to You app here, and you'll be able to click on the barcode scanning, and you'll be able to scan each of those barcodes. As they scan those barcodes, it will onboard them. Once they're finished onboarding, then you'll actually be able to click on the optimized route. And that's going to then allow them to actually go back to their list view. They will see a list of all of their bookings in the most efficient order there. As you go through here, and as I go through, and I'll just type in a few addresses here. And so this is the similar sort of concept. I'm adding in a number of addresses. I'm just going to save them. And these are individual bookings to be completed. All right. And now what the system will actually automatically do is it starts building the actual routes. And so you can click through here, and you can see the routes have been built. It's saying starting in this location. Now we've got to go here, 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 and here. And so the system has built that route for that particular driver. And you can see on your side here, on the trip view, you can see exactly what's happening here as well. And so this means from a customer point of view, they're going to have the ETA that's when that parcel is actually going to be delivered. You're going to be able to see exactly what's happening, and you're going to be able to know how that driver is going to be traveling throughout the day. Now, the thing I mentioned earlier was around in here, you may have some bookings that do require you to be delivered a certain time window. That's just a matter of just entering in the time window here. And so you can say whether it's morning, afternoon, or whether you actually enter in a custom time window for that particular booking. So I hope So I hope you found that video really useful. Now, if you do have any questions, feel free to add a comment. I'm happy to answer those questions. If you want to email me directly, feel free to shoot me an email. My email is steve@locateteyou.com.